Okay, so we were at the cafeteria with Ella yesterday. Let's go. I'm gonna look up at the history a little bit. What looks good on who? Okay, which reminds me just how weird I feel in this outfit. Well, you know, I thought it would be best if I started dressing like the locals. Right, okay. Okay, what do we think of the teachers? Alright. Return. Let's see, what do we think of the teachers? Well, Miss Clayus isn't too bad. Bertha seemed nice, and Mr. Kohler, I guess he's okay. Every second I fumble around looking for names, the smile on Ella's face gets wider. Okay, I get it. Too early for that question. You'll get a better feel for them after a few days. I better. A lot of people aren't too fond of Miss Clayus. I'll admit. I think it's because she's kind of strict about rules. Just be sure not to get on her bad side and you'll be fine. I thought she was quite nice though, so... don't get on her bad side. Seems more like the kind of general advice that would apply to just about anyone though. Yeah, especially newcomers though. Got it. Yup, got it. She's not- oh wait, I missed something. No, I didn't. She nods, turning to lunch again. Wonderful. Made any friends yet? Tran comes to mind first. There's a terrifying thought. Tran is a terrifying thought? Okay. There's also Natalia and Katja. Seems pleasant. I might even consider Janine a friend. Janine a friend. Jzo a friend. Although, right now, our only shared experience involves a nosebleed. True. What's on your mind? How are you holding up? Come on, you must have a ton of more questions. Hit me. Oh, I like to meet people. Maybe join a club. I'm worried I might fall behind. Yeah, I'm worried I might fall behind. Oh no, you did pretty well on that homework last night. I guess, but I kinda muddled through it. I'm not sure how I got that last question right, honestly. We could get to a tutor. Okay. A bit too much excitement there, Ella. I don't think I'm that far gone yet, just trying to stay ahead of things. Right, that's the perfect time for a tutor. It's easier to help you out if you aren't behind yet. True, but... I don't know. Some friends of mine have a study group if you're interested. I guess I'd be okay with it if it wasn't one-on-one. I'll talk to them. I'll get everything sorted out. Hands, Erik. Her job, well done. Any worry that was on Ella's face is replaced with a grin. Aw, she's so sweet. How do I get to know whose hands those are? If I can get them to agree to it. Sure, but I don't want to pressure anyone. I'm sure they'll be happy to help. Alright, I'll trust you on that front. Thanks, Ella. Anytime. She scoops the rest of her lunch and starts to head off. I have something I need to take care of now, so I'll see you later. See ya, Ella. I wave her off as I finish my sandwich. The prospect of a tutor feels daunting, but I feel that Ella's probably right in that I should take care of things now before I fall behind. I guess, yeah. My afternoon philosophy class doesn't make for an exhilarating follow-up to lunch. It's difficult to care about the underlying ontology of the world or whatever, but I'm still focused on figuring out the school. True. If only this was a conversationalism 101, or how to fit in at a new school after a life-altering injury class, it would be a hell of a lot more useful than Descartes' meditations. Meditations, yeah. Now that it's over, though, what do I do with the rest of my day? My only obligation is to meet with Dr. Faber, and that leaves me a bunch of unblocked hours. More out of deep-seated instinct than anything, I decide to head out on the school grounds. A bit of fresh air is sure to help, surely. There's a gentle breeze when I step outside, and I take in a deep, satisfying breath. Somatic disorder aside, at least I'm an outdoors person. That's one conversation Faber and I won't have to have. You should try spending some time outside. It's good for your health. I know, right? Well, I've got some pretty good news for you, Doc. Taking care of myself already. Good job, Erik. Yeah, good job. I continue meandering aimlessly as much as I have to limit my pace. I am left with more time to appreciate the view. Most people are still in their classes, but I can see a few students lounging about. I take note of the more comfortable spots beneath trees and exhibitions for later. For later. Thinking ahead like this is helping me feel more in control of things. Yeah, I can get that. I can understand that. Down one of the paths, I notice a school chapel. It's framed by a set of bright flower beds and exudes a comforting protective aura. Ooh, Katja did mention singing in the chapel. It was a comment almost in passing, but it would be worth stopping by to see if she's there. It was not a comment almost in passing. What have you been doing? I have only heard her humming, and even that was impressive. I can only imagine what her full singing voice sounds like. Even if she isn't there, I'll get to admire the chapel itself. Seems like a win-win, true. It's quite pretty close up. It's not that it rouses an appreciation of divinity or something. I've never had strong feelings there, but the architecture is admirable for its own sake. More than anything, it's imposing. I guess the intent is to humble visitors. For my part, it's doing a decent job of that. And is that a distant sound of singing I hear? Could be. Who knows? I guess I came at the right time to catch Katja. You bet. I step up to the entrance and the voice grows and clarifies. I can't make out most of the details through the muffling wall between us, but even from here I can tell she's good. Aw. I guess I'm in for a treat. With my breath half held, I press on the doors and step through. Let's go. It's even more Um, not gonna lie, that's a tad bit creepy. It's like a, it's like a, it's like a luring hum in a horror movie. Okay, I, I think it's mainly because I watched this one movie about Lilith stealing newborns. I don't remember the name, but that was insane. I'm not gonna listen to this. I'm not gonna listen to this. It's even more impressive from the inside. It isn't huge, like I'd expect from a full-fledged cathedral or a church, but I don't think it's nearly so big as it feels. The steep windows and vaulted ceiling are cavernous. I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. And even with full attendance, I think the hall would look larger than life. Possibly. Despite that, Kaja's voice is filling the whole space vividly. Where do you see Kaja to be assuming that it is Kaja? The acoustics are disorienting, to be honest. My eyes automatically scan the walls first. Even though I know Kaja can't be there, the noise pulls my gaze in every other direction before I finally look to the open space at the front. Ah, there she is. Oh, there she is. I spot her in front of the altar, wrapped by the far wall. She looks so focused and completely present in the song. I also wouldn't have expected so big a voice from her. I'm sure the chapel interior is amplifying it, but I can feel the sound resonating. If I had to pin a singing voice to Kaja, this would not have been it. I think she's singing in an unfamiliar language, maybe Latin. Somehow I can tell it's a sad tune all the same. It is a sad tune, that's probably why it was horrifying to hear. What? I guess Katja was understating her passion for this. I assume it takes some skill to get a dilettante like me to feel the emotion in an unfamiliar song. I take a seat in one of the middle pews and close my eyes. Leaning back and listening gives me some much needed rest after my classes, though hard corners of the pew dig into my back a little. The song rises and falls, it ebbs and flows, and at some point I stop thinking about it. I don't know how long to expect the song to last, and frankly, I'm not in any rush. It's only another 2 or 3 more minutes before Kaja's voice rings out the final note, though. Kaja's voice finally fades, and I can't help but hum in approval. It seems though that she's finally noticed that I'm in the chapel next to her. Erik! I didn't expect to see you here. I can't tell from her tone, whether that's a good or bad thing. You mentioned this yesterday. It seemed like the friendly thing to do. I see. Stepping up to the plate with your best gentlemanly behavior. I might be able to put the lunchtime incident behind us at last. Ah. Since she's resumed teasing me, it's safe to say that I didn't just commit a massive social fog spaz. Of course, that was definitely my intention. Consider yourself provisionally forgiven then. I'm provisionally relieved to hear that. She giggles, and I feel some pride in my kill. Well parried. But now I'm obliged to ask, what did you think? Of the singing? No, the weather, obviously. I take a moment to compose an honest answer. I thought it was amazing. Kaja's smile widens. That's very kind of you. I hope you know there's no need to exaggerate on my account. Well, you're right. I don't need to exaggerate because it's true. How long have you been singing? Longer than I can remember. I was probably humming to myself before I spoke a single word. Yeah, you know, that wouldn't surprise me. You sound like you've got a lifetime of experience. I've always had a lifetime of experience, Erik. That's rather my point. It's the length of the lifetime that's been changing. Interesting. Anyway, there's no need to lavish praise. You can just ask me to sing you another song. Girl, okay. She's not wrong. I certainly wouldn't mind hearing more of this in-house music. Well, She interrupts me before I can finish the thought. It's very kind of you to ask, Eric, but that was the last song in my set. There's nothing for it, as I can't strain my voice. You understand, I'm sure. Aha! I have been led on. Of course, that's my loss. Indeed, such a pity. She pauses before her next sentence. Oh my god, I'm still in just. Oh, I didn't even change my title. I. Oh wow. Hi, Mika, welcome in. How are you doing? Thank you so much for letting me know about that. I just opened OBS and went live. I don't even know what I've done. I didn't change anything. I'm glad you decided to come though. I don't usually have an audience and it helps. Now and again. Yeah, cookies. More cookies for you. I'm okay, I read that. I'm glad to be of help. I have my gentleman's reputation to uphold after all. Yeah, of course. Cookies, yeah. Cookies. I think you can uphold things that actually exist. Huh? What do you mean? Ouch, there goes my gentleman's honor. Same answer. You know, this is really disincentivizing me from stopping by in the future. Katja freezes up at my comment. I was just joking, but maybe that was a bit harsh. But don't worry, I'll persevere in the face of this adversity. Great. I'm happy to hear it. Of course. Is the stream working fine, or? Cause I don't know why, but my phone isn't showing anything. Of course. Stream is fine. Okay. Thank you. So how is your day? How's your day been, Mika? I had you going there for a moment though, didn't I? Grinning at me, she slips her phone from her pocket and glances at the display. Oh, would you look at the time? It was okay. Are you kidding? The ad again? I guess I did restart my stream. Mine was also okay, I guess. I have no ad. Wonderful. I'll continue then. Oh, would you look at the time? I really must be going soon. And I only just got here. Well, you'll simply have to pop by again to hear more, I suppose. Nothing to be done about that. I humor her with an exaggerated sigh. Nothing at all, no. I'll find some time in my busy schedule to visit again. I'm sure you'll manage. I'm sure you'll manage too. How have you been holding up though? Kaja's sudden change in tone throws me off. Huh? How have you been doing since the last time we spoke? Adjusting alright? Oh, yeah, I think so. I don't really know what to tell her or what an acceptable response is. She considers me for a moment and nods. Still too soon for a confident answer, I understand. There's no rush to get used to things, you know? Well, no, but you'd still like it to happen sooner rather than later. Yeah, it will, I'm quite confident. You're going out of your way to pay gentlemanly visits to your classmates. Wow, that puts you well ahead of the curve. Ha, perfect. I'll just keep this up then. Katja flashes a bright smile. Lovely. She turns to gather her belongings from the corner of the pews. Slinging her bag over her shoulder, she looks at me again. I did mean it, by the way. Mean what? I appreciate you coming, especially since I never asked you to. It's a kind gesture. You did ask him though. Like, are we tripping? I'm pretty sure you asked him. Janine is the last one. Okay. Never mind. I guess I can't scroll up too far. Which of them can I marry? Oh. Wow, that's quick. Who do you want to marry? I like Katja, so she's kind of taken. I need someone to work in the basement. Oh, well, I guess you'll have to find that on your own here then. Okay, I read that. It's nothing really, it was my pleasure. Maybe so, but you're still one of only handful of people to ever stop by, so I'm grateful even if it's for nothing. Ugh, fine. That just sounds like everyone else's loss. You're sweet. Ready to go. She gives me one last smile. I look forward to seeing you around more. Let me know if you need help with anything. Thanks, I'll see you later. She walks down the aisle and out of the chapel. The end of our conversation was starting to feel like an impromptu therapy session. I'm not sure if it was more for my benefit or hers. It was pleasant though, I didn't exactly mind. Then I take, do you remember their names? Huh? Do you remember? No, I. So, we have Fran. Sorry, not she, they like to keep mystery around their gender. So, we don't really know much about them, but they kind of dragged us. They're the extrovert. They dragged us, they adopted us, and got us into a newspaper club, technically. Then we have Ella, which is our tour guide, who was our tour guide. Um, we just had a little talk with her earlier in the cafeteria, but I guess it will be better if you can see them yourself. Then we have a quiet girl who's always listening to music, and it's a little bit hard to talk to her for this guy. Then we have Natalia, who is Russian and who likes to make puns or random jokes whenever she can. I still have some time before my actual appointment with Dr. Faber, so I decide to give the interior a more thorough look. Distracted as I was with Kadra earlier, it's only now that I notice some of the details. You take the joke, girl? Aw, Natalia. Her name's Natalia. I know her name. Yeah. The windows are just Nat aren't just impressively tall, they're also filled with intricate stained glass artwork. Here and there I can recognize the images as representing biblical figures, but even those that look unfamiliar are rather beautiful. I'm reminded of all the nursery rhymes and childhood hymns that they were surprisingly effective at teaching without forcing assigned reading upon us. I suppose that's why they call an oral tradition. Through my thoughts, I hear footsteps approaching from a chamber at the side of the hall. Just as I've turned to look, a heavy door swings open with a creak and a congenial-looking elderly man steps through. From his attire, it's clear he's some sort of priest, like the Oregon? I should have expected his presence, but the thought never occurred to me. He smiled at me from across the pews and makes his way toward me. I see you've met Miss Palm. His voice drifts around the hall with comforting warmth. It isn't loud, but it's stronger than I'd guessed from his narrow frame, and deeper too. I can imagine what it would be like to listen to his sermons, reassuring even if you're not sure you understand his meaning. Wow. Erik? Erik is just technically the main character. Technically me playing. I don't know. As he reaches me, I can make out his features more clearly. Did I just technically say yeah? Technically, yeah. But Erik is, I think, a male. So I guess we're technically not the same. As he reaches me, I can make out his features more clearly. You're a male. Wonderful. His pensive gray eyes observe me without a hint of judgment. Thank you for the treat. And his wrinkles show the age of someone who spent most of his life smiling. Oh, that's so nice. In a word, I'd describe him as gentle. Ah, yeah, we've spoken a few times. He gives me a once over himself and offers a little smile, which I do my best to return. I'm Father Maximilian Steinhoff, rector of St. Dimnas. That is a fine mouthful, however, and you should feel free to call me Father Max. Wonderful, Father Max. I assume you are the new arrival, Erik Wilhelm. I've not seen you yet. As Father Max says this, he extends a hand. I shake it, pulling these new pieces together. Of course, we'd have a father at the chapel. That much makes sense. But if he's a rector, you're in charge around here, not the principal? Now he grins. Huh. Ah, yes, in practice, he is the principal. My responsibilities are more ecumenical, and it's most convenient for the school that I leave him to his duties. He performs them admirably. So it's a sinecure for a clergyman to lead the school is still a bit of a surprise. It's just not the impression you'd get from the clinical energy everything has. What's going on? I guess with a name like Saint Dimphnas, I should have guessed that this was a religious institution. Oh, is it? Damn, okay. He holds up a hand in friendly caution. Strictly speaking, Erik, you are correct. This is a religious institution. That said, I wouldn't worry yourself about any implications of that term. Ah, okay. That's cool. Once upon a time, this was a Jesuit. I'm sorry, I don't really know how to pronounce that. Monastery, and on paper, it's still the property of the order, but that's theoretical. The legal status is neither reflected in school policy nor priority. We have religious services for those who would attend, but you're not obligated to attend them. I want to say that that's a relief, but I realize that might be rude. I understand. Thank you for the clarification. Father Max gives me a nod. I'm here to help however I might. You're welcome to contact me if I can ever be of assistance. And that offer goes for more than just relationship troubles between yourself and God. He looks at me expectantly, and when I laugh at his jokes, smiles with obvious satisfaction. He smiles, okay? I will. Now he looks down at the hall entrance through which Katja had left just now. Katja doesn't usually have visitors during her practices. Yeah, she told me. We were talking yesterday and she mentioned that she sings here often, so I thought I'd stop by after class. That's very good of you. She's been practicing for the gala, you know? It's in 2 weeks. I'd strongly recommend you attend. Oh, it makes sense she'd be performing then. She told you this that day, what? I'll do my best to make it. Good, good. If I might ask, how have your first days been at St. Timothy's? Oh, I struggle to put together an answer he might find satisfactory. Good so far, still getting my bearings. I've been meeting people and maybe making friends. So I see. Again, he glances significantly to the doors Katja just left through. I guess Katja and I are friends-ish, friend adjacent, approximately friends. I relate. Yeah. Something about the patient way Father Max regards me makes me want to say more. Honestly, I'm still not sure about how to interact with people. I'm doing my best to be accommodating, but I'm still afraid of doing something wrong or caring too much and about doing something wrong. Ah, your concerns are entirely understandable, Eric. Every student here has to go through an adjustment phase of their own. None are necessarily easy. Interacting with people is hard. Yeah, most times though, it's very hard. I know, I just wish it would be over sooner than later. Don't we always? But the time flies much faster when we're keeping ourselves occupied with friends. I've been trying. And succeeding, it would seem. Don't fret too much, Eric. With friends like Gotcha, I'd say you're getting your bearings just fine. I don't think he's wrong, but he's bringing Gotcha up. Do you know Gotcha as well? My question catches him off guard, like he thought it was obvious. Ah, I suppose I never mentioned. My duties include leading the school choir. I'm not sure how to pronounce that either. So you're technically her teacher? Something like that, yes. I'd say I advise more than teach. I'm not invested enough to ask him to explain the difference. As you'd imagine, that means I've spoken to Miss Mall regularly since she joined. That's nice. Indeed. Have you perhaps thought about joining the choir yourself? Not exactly, no. I can't really sing. Father Max offers a sage nod. That's fair enough, though we do welcome students of all levels. We all start somewhere. I'll keep that in mind. I won't really, but that was a polite thing to say. That's good to hear. He's just like me. He turns his arm to get a look at his watch that gives me a smile. I had stepped out to give you my welcome, Erik, but unfortunately my responsibilities call me. I've got a mountain of paperwork to go through, as I always seem to. For now, welcome to St. Stephen's. I hope to see you around again. Thanks, yeah, I'll be around. I wave and he turns back to the side he'd come from. I'm left once again with my thoughts, and I realize I've lost track of time. According to my phone, it's getting close to my appointment with Dr. Faber. Scorpio, hi, welcome in. He always goes back to the same place day after day, just watching it like it was yesterday. Yeah. We're going to the appointment with that doctor. Despite the fact it causes him tremendous anxiety. Very true, very true. I miss Bradley. I'm thinking of doing other endings. I'm not sure when I'll do. Maybe Drew. If not that, then I'm gonna do like nightmare mode as well. It's a precious day outside, the bells are ringing, the holy music is playing, but it seems the day has come to an end. With it brings you who brought happiness to us all. And who is that? So Scorpio, how's your day been going? How are you doing? Sleep fine? This is not fun at all unless you like to try hard. Wait, what? I'll probably be fine, but I'm not going to risk being late to my very first appointment. I take one final look around the chapel before setting off. Oh, playing a nightmare, not fun. Okay. Unless I like to try hard. Maybe I shouldn't try. I leave the chapel and begin my slow walk towards Dr. Beaver's office. There's doctor mode as well, I've heard. What's that like? Do you know that? This meeting should be the least of my worries, considering that I left. I will be lurking right now. Okay, I hope you have a good time lurking. Feel free to come back in whenever you'd like. Also feel free to check out the unlurk if you want whenever you're back. Enjoy the stream. Considering that I left so early, I have no reason to be late to my first appointment. I guess that's pretty good. I left early. I don't know how my leg is going to hold up, and I'm not too familiar with the route. It's probably for the best that I don't take any risks, but maybe it wouldn't be so bad if I found myself arriving late to the appointment. I don't think Faber could fault me for that, considering what I have to contend with. I guess. Should I really stress myself out over making my way there as soon as possible? Maybe I could come up with something cute to miss the session entirely. Oh, you really don't want to go, huh? From the corner of my eye, I managed to spot a sign, which conveniently points me to the school's main building. There it is, clear as day, begging to be noticed by the students on campus. How could anyone possibly miss that? Alright then, Erik. Enough stalling. Enough stalling! Unluckily for me, the paths to the psychiatry office are pretty intuitive. Every sidewalk connects to the main hallway in some way or the other. All you have to do is walk straight and you're bound to end up where you're supposed to be. Wow. I grit my teeth in frustration. Pretty straightforward for a person like me working my way to the psychiatrist's office. My psychiatrist's office. My visit to Dr. Faber is just another confirmation that I belong here. No. For all the people I've met at this school, I can't afford to think like that. Yeah. No matter what happened, I'm still me. Yeah. I'm still Erik Wilhelm. I excel my held breath in an effort to relieve some of the tension gripping my body. No. I'm really not the same anymore. You're still you. Ignoring my problems won't make them go away, and forgetting my situation won't let me get past it either. True. Well, look at that. I'm already making progress in my head. Maybe I don't need to sit down and talk about my problems after all. Maybe. That train of thought probably won't win me any favors with Dr. Faber. From here, it's just a straight shot to the main building. Yet every step makes me realize how much distance there is between the buildings and myself. Every foot forward feels like a losing battle. My legs wobbling dangerously underneath. As much as this walk sucks, I just need a few more movements and finally I reach the doors to the school offices. As I stumble through the double doors, I'm immediately struck by how blue the hallway is. Why blue? They probably chose blue to be calming and relaxing, but for me, it has the opposite effect. It isn't calming and relaxing. The decor starts to make my stomach turn until I'm forced to look down and concentrate on my footsteps. Of course, the school would paint the hallways in a forcefully relaxing color. However, with my eyes now on the floor, I can now clearly make out the imprints of past visitors' shoes on the hallway carpeting. I'm horrified to find that my feet are falling squarely into them. Oh, I force my head up and find that I'm coming close to a junction. On the wall, a conveniently placed non-blue sign directs me to Faber's office. Of course, just what I would expect from this school. It's comically impossible to get lost, no matter how hard a student might try. If the campus were more complicated or there were less signs, then you could conveniently get lost. True. I used to get lost in my college all the time. How great would it be if, by the time I reached the office, my appointment were over? It's not my fault, Dr. Faber, just an unfortunate set of coincidences causing me to miss every sign on campus. Perhaps our meeting will just have to be scheduled for a future time, a time when I'm not freaking out at this very moment. What a ridiculous thought. Could I forget the way here every time I have an appointment? My eyes are already fixed on another sign directing me to Faber's office. Hell, at this point, I can't even see his door. Maybe I could just skip it. What can they do? Scold me? Take me out of the school? I shake my head. What is wrong with you, Erik? I'm already here, standing conspicuously in the middle of the corridor. I'm just around the corner from another nearby office and close enough to hear the light clicks of a keyboard and rustling papers. I'm not alone. Faber's door is directly in front of me. All I have to do is walk forward, yet my body feels light years away. My heart is trembling and I can't find myself able to commit to any kind of motor function. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. You have to do this. I inhale sharply and attempt to calm my racing nerves. This is so accurate. One step at a time. Yup. You got this. Any distance can be covered one step at a time. I can do this. Yeah. It takes some effort, but I'm able to force myself to take the final few motions to Faber's office. Any cynical thoughts I have are pushed into the recesses of my mind. I knock once. Silence. Maybe you didn't hear. Before I can retreat, the door is open. I didn't hear any sound of him approaching the door from the other side. Hello, Doc. In the briefest of moments, he's simply there, looking professionally composed and smiling. Hello, Erik. I nod, stifling an acknowledgement, feeling more like a deer in the headlights than a student here for a simple counseling appointment. Please, come on in. You're right on time. Am I? I follow Faber into his office. As Faber sits, I am immediately thrown off by what I see. Oh. Is that the principal? The room isn't how I imagined a psychiatrist's office would look. Of course, there's a couch at one end of the room, but the entire office feels unexpectedly mundane. It looks like a normal school office, a cramped space covered in sunlight with various papers and books strewn everywhere. One wall is lined with diplomats accompanied by an assortment of what seem to be personal photos. The strangest part of the room that I can see is that his desk is pushed to face the far side of the wall. Why is that strange? Either his back will be facing me the entire time, or he'll be directly focused on me during our conversation. He has a book in his hand, so I'm not sure how to feel about either scenario. Erik. I stiffen as I direct my attention to Faber, hoping he doesn't notice. Would you like to sit down? Yes, please. Just how tense do I look right now? I can feel it in my shoulders. I look for other seating arrangements beside the couch and can see that I have a few options. Excluding the chair taken by Faber, there are two others in the room. One of them is a beanbag, and the other one is an armchair. I decide on the latter and try to make myself comfortable on the creased aged other. Of course. From here, I await judgment. How are you holding up so far? I nod mechanically, desperate to try and say something. Fine. It's a good start. He doesn't question my answer and simply returns a nod. I'm glad you found your way here. I can understand how confusing it might be to find your way around an unfamiliar environment. We were just having a conversation about that. I fight against the smile I feel forming on my face. Bragging. There are signs everywhere. So there are. Are you ready to get started? He patiently waits for my response, though at this point it's not really like I can say nah, and it just showed up to say hi. I resign myself to a slow nod. Alright then. He has his chair positioned directly to face me, making it obvious that I have his full attention. How have you been settling in so far? Wouldn't know, honestly. I can feel my chest sink a little. I think carefully about my choice of words and try responding in a way that doesn't sound problematic. I've only been here a couple of days, but so far I think I'm doing alright. I mean, nothing seems deliberately nasty or anything, I guess. Were you expecting things to be deliberately nasty? There we go. Shit. Well, no, but I don't know. New schools typically feel weird, I guess. I might have worked myself into a corner. Yeah. Faber nods. I understand it can be difficult to adjust to a new school, but I'm glad nothing bad has stood out to you. Though I am surprised. I mean, when I came in a few years back, I certainly found the school's food to be deliberately nasty. Oh? This comment throws me off guard. You think the food here is nasty? I think you might be spoiled now. It's much better than it used to. But, though it was hard for me starting out. Before my time here, I did a little traveling, and I admit grew a little attached to some of the fancier European cities. Before I realize my body is leaning towards Faber, and I find myself engaged in a conversation. Where you traveled? A twinkle of light flashes across Faber's eyes. I'm not sure they're... Well, where can I start? Really? I've explored France's countryside, the waters of Saint Malo all the way down to Toulouse, where I spent a summer. I've seen the Atlantic in Porto and the Mediterranean during winter in Venezia. I did enjoy my time in Switzerland quite a bit. The concern Basil. That's... I start to interrupt Faber but retract immediately once I realize that I've rudely interrupted him. He's a psychiatrist. He's not supposed to talk about himself. He shakes his head with a soft smile. You're not at fault, Erik. What did you want to say? I was just going to say that Basil is where I grew up. My parents live out there now, but it was our whole family's home for a while. Surprising myself, I start talking about my experiences back home. I guess it's fine. I talk for a while about growing up and the fond memories I shared with my brother and sisters. I realize I'm smiling without having to force it. I see Basel is a lovely city to raise a family in. I understand your siblings moved out not too long ago, correct? My brother oh, it's your brother. Okay. Hello, Hopi, my dear... my dear friend. Hi, Angie. How are you doing today? How's your day been? Oh, by the way, how's your reading going? I forgot to ask about that. Gustav is his brother, so it was definitely not supposed to be romantic. We're currently at the psychiatrist's office talking about childhood. My brother Gustav moved out a few years ago, and my sisters just recently moved in together in Vienna. Drinking hot. I love hot chocolate. Send some. Joking. Oh, okay, wait, did I skip something? Could you tell me more about them? No matter what I say, Faber patiently listens and engages in the conversation. Yeah, that's how they're supposed to be. No matter what I say. Okay, I've read that. This isn't an interrogation. I'm not reading Midnight. Okay, what about the Punk 57? Did you finish that or did you like throw it aside? Towards the end of our session, Faber turns to pick up a thick folder from atop his desk. Now, before we leave off today, I would like you to go through some extra paperwork so that I can get a better idea of your situation. Do you mind? I shake my head. Yeah, kind of true. Okay, wonderful. The folder he passes me is so thick that I don't need a clipboard to write my answers down. I mean, I know the identity of the punk, so what's left to unravel? That's true, nothing much. That was the coolest part of the book. Thankfully, the questions are multiple choice. I don't focus too much on the folder's weight. After that point, I didn't really like anything in the book, so yeah. Don't overthink your answers, just go with what seems right in the moment. He passes me a pen with a little hesitation. I begin to mark down the answers I feel comfortable with. I'm surprised with how much more at ease I am coming out first. Yeah, rapid rolling goes a long ways. The joints of my fingers are a little sore, but I survived. I'm gonna read Midnight Library Summer towards the end of next month. I think I still have some lame university stuff on my head. It's alright. Take your time. It's no hurry, really. What's the university stuff? Do you have like projects, assignments coming up? Dr. Faber flicks through all the papers at an inhuman speed. I'd be surprised if he could actually read any of the documents he's skimming. It's only at the very end, but he pauses briefly, reading one of the last sections a little more thoroughly before closing the entire folder and setting it back on his desk. Everything looks good. I'll go over the details to review for our next appointment, which will be next week at this time. I have your phone number on file, and my contact info was included in the last email I sent you. One, I'll receive text reminders for next week's appointment in case you forget. Very much appreciated. We are very forgetful. Also, he reaches yet again back to his desk before I get thrown with the thought of more paperwork. He passes me over a black hardcover journal. I'd like you to keep a journal to record your thoughts every evening. It doesn't have to be anything too extensive, just simple remarks about what you've done and how you feel each day. 2 exams and 1 MAPPs. I have to finish and get it passed. Wow, TCs, you're doing TCs? I hope it all goes well. What? Do you have like a topic for your thesis? The book looks expensive, though I'm hardly an expert. It will go well. You are very smart. Don't worry about it. You've got this. You'll slay it. I flip through all the blank pages, taking in the smell of crisp new paper. It makes me feel like I'd be ruining these pages with the scrawlings of my mundane life rather than contributing to them. I relate. What are you going to use this for? Nothing. The journal is for you. If it helps, we'll continue to have you use it. If it doesn't, then you don't have to write in it, but it's best to start writing out your thoughts now. Getting into the habit of writing daily might be more beneficial than you think. The topic is semantic prosody in hip-hop lyrics. Oh, or in other words, I analyze hip-hop lyrics from a linguistic point of view, just some English. That's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. Getting into the habit of writing daily might be more beneficial than you think. I give a reaffirming nod. And Erik? Yes, sir. Faber maintains a smile, but I shouldn't have said it the way I said it. Now his gaze becomes more intense as it continues. I should drink some water. If you need anything from me between appointments, please call. Cool, just wait until I tell you the topic of my BA thesis I had to write 2 years ago. What was it? Tell me. I will always strive to answer the phone, but if I do not, then please leave a voicemail and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Wonderful. Oh my god, graffiti! Wonderful. Wow. Treaty of Brexit in British Street. Wow. I love that. Day or night, it's my job to be here. Tell me a little bit about it. So, got it. Thanks. Faber's expression warms as he sets down his paperwork and slaps his legs decisively. Great, well, I look forward to seeing you next week. I blankly stare at him in surprise. Huh? Without realizing it, the session is already over, and what should have felt like an hour passed by on only movements. Yeah, time passes quick when you're happy. I got lucky with this one because I could pick a topic from the culture area, but now I had to write something from the linguistic area. So boring. Yeah, but that's still pretty cool because you chose hip hop, and I'm guessing that's something you like. Shouldn't be too bad to work with. Uh, my thesis was, wow, that was a lengthy one, like the title, but it was the connection between past experiences and depression in regards with attachment styles, adult attachment styles. It's not that bad. I used to listen to hip hop back in the young days. You always catch me off guard with the young days. I never know what you mean by that. You're still young, you know? Sounds serious, Professor Lollipop. Yeah, I'm doing psychology, so it was serious, but nobody really cared about it. Probably failing it. That's how I imagine. That's it. Dr. Bieber nods his amused smile, telling me this is the first time we've heard this question. Yes, I do have it printed out. I did another short, kind of like an in-depth interview thing, on short thesis technically, about, I cannot remember the exact title I used. It was about how the general terms about how what men have to do and stuff and how they affect men. Internalized toxic masculinity, societal terms. It was associated with all of that. I don't remember the exact term that I used as a title. That moment when you wrote a science paper and you don't remember. I know. Is there anything else on your mind, Eric? Well, yeah, but this was a lot more straightforward than I thought it would be. Toxic mass sounds familiar? What do you mean? No. Well, yeah, but this was a lot more straightforward than I thought. I might have talked about it. I might have. Because I was pissed at the teachers. This was a lot more straightforward than I thought it would be. Favor holds a smile. I'm here as a resource for you, Eric. The meetings will go however you want them to. That's cool. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say, but I'm already physically feeling a lot better. I live in a traditional European country, so we have plenty of toxic masculinity here. But it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Okay. I hope it gets better. We're in 2024. What is going on? There's like... Okay, we're not getting into the life stuff. I don't really know what else to say, but I'm already physically feeling a lot better now. For now, remember to work on the journal I gave you, and for this week, try to find a few new opportunities to make some good friends here. It's important to find some safe spaces to settle into with any new school. It will also be a good goal to focus on for our next meeting, don't you think? I give off a final but very comfortable nod. Taking this as a cue to leave, I stand up from my chair. I can feel the cold air hitting the sweat that had collected on my back, but at this point the sensation is quite refreshing. It's 2024. It's time for men to stop eating raw meat and cut down. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Thank you for your time. Anytime, Erik. Such a nice psychiatrist who cares about his patients. I leave the office and shut the door with an unexpected smile on my face. It's a simple endeavor to retrace my way out of the building. However, this time I paid deliberate attention to avoid walking within the old, clear marks on the hallway carpeting. Are you still studying? Yeah, I'm kind of stuck in this degree because they won't update my first year's marks. And my thesis marks are also not updated yet, and I submitted in December. The Viva for that went horribly because I don't know why, but the external that like did my Viva was already pissed, and she didn't really know how to ask questions, and I didn't really know how to answer the non-existing questions. So it went kind of horribly, and I think I'm failing because of that. So I'm gonna just apply to a regular university or college instead of this distant learning thing, because I feel like I'm not getting this degree anytime soon. They don't want to. Aww. You understand them. Sometimes it's needed to let go, you know? Just quit the game. It's a simple endeavor to retrace my way out of the building. However, okay, I read that. Now, in a much better mood, I decide to take a longer route back to the dorm. Or I would have, but of course I'm predictably stopped short by my like, are you kidding me? It's only been a few minutes, but it's already beginning to bother me as I work my way down the outdoor path. It looks like I still have some distance to go, as looking around I don't recognize the generic school building and bordering woodland. I could try to push myself to continue around the building to see if I recognize any obvious landmarks. However, I stumble, almost face planting the concrete, but thankfully catch myself just in time. Wow. And do you want to work as a psychologist after the university? Well, I am still in my bachelor's. Because they're extending my degree. So, I need master's to be able to work as a psychologist, which will take 2 years if I do get this degree anytime soon. If I don't, then I'm gonna have to do the degree again in a better college, a regular college, and that will take me a total of 5 years then. So I gotta find something else before I can be a psychologist. Time flies. Yeah, it does fly. But I kind of also need a degree to be able to get to the 2 years so that it can fly. And the degree has already taken a year, more than it should, to get delivered to me. So, yeah. Tripping at this point wouldn't be ideal. I take a momentary glance around and spot a fallen log a short way into the woods beside the main road. It'd be a decent place to sit that isn't in the dirt or sun. But in the woods, I can already see a fence ominously blocking further entry. However, the log is on my side of the fence, so I guess walking that far shouldn't be a problem. Right? Cautiously, ignoring a warning sign, I push through some of the side foliage. Here's what you gotta do. Kick open the door to the principal's office and say, "You egghead, give me the damn degree right now or else I'ma slap ya." Compete. Well, I kind of technically did that. But they're like, we will get to it, we will get to it, you'll get your degree. And it's been a year. And then you walk away with the explosion behind your back. Wow. So cinematic. Cautiously ignoring a warning sign, I push through some of the side foliage. Foliage. Why do I keep calling it foliage? And come out into an almost brand new world under a canopy of trees. Wow. This guy is exploring. I may be watching too many action movies, who knows? That's fine. You're great. You're doing great. I'm only just a few feet away from the path and already the entire mood has changed. A wash of swaying green leaves and the melody of distant birdsong comes alive before me. Ah, stop it, I'm a blush. Aw, you're very great, Angie. Well, I make my way towards the log, which is only a few meters away, continuing to listen to the sounds of the forest. February? No, there's still 8 months. I make my way towards the log, which is only a few meters away, continuing to listen to the sound of the forest. I step onto a branch hidden in the soil, which gives way with a resounding crack. We're getting in February. I'm joking. Okay, we shall retrace our steps back a bit then. The peaceful ambiance of the forest is broken immediately. The air is soon filled by the sound of fluttering wings. I mean, if you... Okay. Flocks of birds, alarmed by my intrusion, launch themselves up and disappear into the sky. I watch as if I he's scared away. Hobbling to the other end of the lawn, I find a girl staring longingly into the sky afterwards. It turns out, what I'd first assumed was moss is actually the head. What did you just say? It turns out what I'd first assumed was moss is actually the head of Saint Dimphna's student. A moss? How she looks green to you? Okay. She's drawing birds though. Her hair is pulled out of her face and tied back, maybe as an afterthought. However, her uniform is rather ironically neatly pressed and a kind of spotless you would not expect to find under a mess of a hair. I got a nickel every time. If I got a nickel every time I could confuse people and care for moms. Oh god. Ads coming in 5 minutes. I might take a break in 5 minutes. However, okay, I read that. Or in a forest for that matter. It's hard to pay attention to anything else other than this girl in front of me who is moss. I try and open my mouth to say something, anything, but... hello? Why did you do that? Cut off as she beats me in starting the conversation. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't think anyone else would be here. She eyes me warily for a moment, and then a while, the silence begins to stretch so far between us that soon my pre-favor internal anxiety is starting to return. Oh god. Oh, I'm sorry, I took you for a mouse. Insane. How? Should I just leave, or it doesn't even seem like she wants to look at me, although that's not too surprising considering that I'm a random stranger in her eyes. Try to find new opportunities to make some good friends. This looks like a pretty new opportunity. Faber's voice rings out in my mind, so I clear my throat. Oh, wonderful. I am Erik Wilhelm. I extend my hand towards her. I am actually a new transfer student. She glances briefly at my uniform, then looks away just as quickly. She nods, perhaps in acknowledgement of my words, although the reaction appears more mechanical than any kind of a natural response. Was this how I came across to Dr. Faber earlier? The quiet stillness quickly returns between the two of us, leaving only the accompaniment of light rustling of leaves. Is there another boy student in this school? There are lots of boy students in the school. There's Fran. They don't really like, well, they kind of like mystery around their gender, so we don't really know what to refer to them as. There's that's Fran. And yeah, so far you are right. We have only been meeting girls. Technically. Yeah. But there are boys. I think cool school. Yeah, cool school. You screwed up, Erik. I slowly retract my hand. Sorry for bothering you. I'm ready to turn around and leave. However, as if compelled by my sudden departure, the girl mumbles out a barely audible whisper. I'm supposed to introduce myself. She squares her shoulders, though still neglects to make eye contact with me, and calls out her own introduction with a voice much louder than before. I am, Isolda Gillard. I've been here for 2 years and 1 month. Wonderful. I nod back, but in the spirit of making friends, I feel a little confused at this point. I would too. I have no idea how to continue this conversation. It's nice to meet you. That's a start. Oh right, it's nice to meet you too. I try to play my absent-mindedness as a joke, chuckling. Why are you laughing? The hollow laughter catches in my throat, and I answer with resignation. I don't know. Where can I apply? I don't know. Saint Dimphnas? She nods, indicating that to be a perfectly acceptable answer. You're really weird. I work hard to stifle another laugh. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty weird right now. My leg is now screaming at me, leaving me to collapse. Oh. To tell you the truth, I'm a little tired and was looking for a place to rest. I motioned to the fallen log nearby her. Can I sit down? At this point, I'm not even sure if I could make it back to the main road if she said no. But my butt meeting the ground seems to be an inevitability, whether elevated on a log or not. Probably, I'll take it. It's not a definitive yes, but I can already feel my leg buckling underneath me. Hello, hi, NG. Can you? Oh no, you can't hear me. My mic is on. How was my day? I don't know, it was weird. Mainly tiring, that's all. Did you paint your nails today or something? No self-care stuff. Streaming kind of is self-care for me, but yeah, nothing other than that. Anyways, it's not a definitive yes, but I can already feel my leg buckling underneath me. What about you? Did you do any self-care today? Well, I wobbled dangerously before perching on the end of the log, just a little away from where Isolde's sitting. Exhaustion overtakes me. I don't know whether it's because I'm relying far too much on one leg for support, or maybe that I'm mentally exhausted after Faber's meeting. Still, in a few moments, relief courses throughout my body, and I throw my head back with a satisfied thought. I'm not sure whether Isolde is still eyeing me merely or not, so without looking directly at her, I try to make an attempt to engage in small talk. You can rot in your bed and watch La La Land. Why do you want me to watch La La Land? So, you come here often? Yes. Her curt reply draws my attention, and by looking over, I see that she is now standing. Her eyes are fixed on on fixed hard on the blanket that she's standing on, and following her gaze, I'm embarrassed that it has taken me this long to realize the pages of sketches littered all around her. They're comprised of differently shaped and shaded local birds, and they look quite good. Uh, why do you want me to read Midnight? Okay. But I've already seen La La Land. Just make sure you don't get. Yeah, yeah, true. Can't go back to the same place. Scorpio, what's like your comfort movie or a movie you watch when you're sad? You've seen it already. Did you like it? I mean, yeah. I cried if that says something. They're comprised of differently shaped and shaded local birds. Have you watched the oh god, the spotless mind something? Never mind. I'll look up the name later. When I'm sad, I watch Tim Burton movies. Wonderful. I'm not sure if The Corpse Bride is a Tim Burton's movies, but I watched that and I love it, and I want to watch the others. La La Land makes you cry, but it's a sad cry with a hint of hope, for me at least. With a hint of hope? Okay, let's pause the game for a bit. What's the hope there? You go separate ways and find someone else? It is, I love that one. I love it too. What are the other movies, Scorpio? They're comprised of different. Okay, I read that. Did you draw all these? She answers me without looking up. Yes. I'm still unsure whether I should back out of this conversation or not. I could try once more, perhaps, to see if any kind of discussion is possible. Would you mind if I looked at them up close? She tenses up immediately. Yes. Fair enough. However, as I resign myself to ending our talk, she bends down and reaches for a black journal placed next to her. Uh-oh. She picks it up with the utmost grace and care, her fingertips grazing the outer edges as if the entire journal were priceless to her. Despite her previous response, she holds the book out towards me and waits for me to take it. But isn't that your journal? I don't understand. Or is it a sketchbook? I'm handing it to. She sounds annoyed now, so rather than I argue the point, I accept the book. I scoot over and reach my hands to take it, but before I can, she violently jerks the journal back. It takes her a moment, but she quickly collects herself and extends the book towards me again. Only this time she's holding it with just her fingertips. Is she afraid to have any contact with me? I decide not to push the issue and accept the book once more. Okay. For me, La La Land says that the path to happiness may lead through the paths you wouldn't think that will lead you to happiness. Like, the two characters end up separate, but they're both happy. She gets a loving husband, kid, and career. Sub gets the jazz club music appreciation. I do see your point, but that's just painful for me. Yeah, I do see your point. That is right. It's just painful for me. Kind of. Maybe I'll get over it one day. I was really rooting for them to somehow end up together, you know, but... yeah. The book is just like the journal Dr. Faber had given to me earlier, but after opening and flipping through the pages, I see that it's filled with pictures instead of words. Every page is covered in drawings varying from simple pencil outlines to intricately shaded creatures, from sketches the size of a thumb to full pages depicting a single forested backdrop. Sweeney Todd is one to stand out. Oh. Sleepy Hollow as well. Okay. Interesting. I will watch one of those this Monday. Yeah, sure. I was rooting for them to see, so you kind of get it, right? I'm just finding it hard to vote with Johnny Depp. Oh, okay. Okay, no worries. What was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah, so Angie, you get what I mean. I'm just not over it yet. Scorpio, by the way, how have you been liking this game? Wow, I'm bad with words. We gotta rewatch it together, bro. I'll bring the hot chocolate. Wonderful. This one day? Every page is... I read that. It's as if there were another world trapped within these pages. Wow. Is this actually hand-drawn? Up close, they're really good. Yeah, the game I'm playing. Oh, that's a tad bit creepy, but cute. Cute, okay. I finish on a picture of an owl sheltering in the fork of a tree, its head tilted to one side as if eyeing me suspiciously. I'm quickly reminded of the girl in front of me. Oh. Satisfied, I hand the book back to her. Owl, yeah. Isolda accepts it with her fingertips, still looking like she's making some effort not to touch my hands. I try not to pay much mind to it instead of focusing on what I had just seen from a journal. Instead focusing, not off. These drawings are amazing. She simply nods, looking like what I said was a dry fact rather than the praise for her work. I've got a lot more back at my room. Jenny likes them as well. Jazo. Speaking of, I will be honest, I did not pay attention at all. I usually play games and just sleep to— oh. Oh, okay, that's cool. Speaking of drawings, you gotta show us your sketches of the emotes. You wanna see the OG sketches? Alright, sure, after the game. So what game are you playing, Scorpio, right now? I really appreciate the like, by the way. Um, Isolda pauses, looks up at me from where she's collected her drawing implements and starts putting them back into her bag. They're really nothing special though, I just draw what's in front of me. Yeah. Speaking of lurking, Mika, wake up. No, he's sleeping, he will not wake up. I'm playing TCM. The queue sometimes takes minutes, so I could use Dome. Ah, fair enough, fair enough. I always miss Mika. Yeah. Mika's just really tired nowadays. Mika is sick. Did you know that? Mika is sick. They're really nothing special though. I just draw what's in front of me. You're a very talented artist. Oh no, I didn't. Yeah. Mika's sick. He's been recovering a little bit, like slowly but surely. He doesn't take meds, so I don't think Mika can see that. I think he's asleep. Thank you for the hug, though. I will take a screenshot. I hugged him while he's asleep. That's kind of creepy. Yeah, I will not include that in the screenshot. I will show him the hug screenshot, though. Wow, why am I struggling with the screenshot? Take it. But that's the best part, right? Hi Jenny, welcome in. How are you doing? How's work going? I am doing okay. I'm trying to take a screenshot. I don't know why I'm finding it so hard to take it. Hello? Oh, I was pressing the volume. Oh, never mind. Drink tea with honey. Oh, okay. I'll take a screenshot of that as well. I'm better now that I'm wonderful, wonderful. You're a very, very talented artist. Very true, you are a very talented artist. She looks momentarily puzzled as she glances down at the sketchpads in front of her, and then up at a few of these trees. There are plenty of people who I hear an alarm go off from her bag. Isn't that the same ringtone that Simon has? How am I? I think I responded. I'm not sure. I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. Oh, sorry. NG. Oh god, I'm tripping. That's just a text message sound effect from 2002. Ooh. It takes her a moment, fumbling through pockets, but soon enough, she pulls out a phone and taps it to stop the alarm. But it is the same one in Cry of Fury. Glad to see you. Fine. 5 o'clock. She seems to have forgotten I'm here as she fumbles around and gathers up her materials. She hastily returns the sketchbooks to her bag, along with the blanket and other materials before standing back up. I have to get back to the dorm. Jazo will be waiting for me to come to dinner. Back in my young days, I would use this sound. Right. I'm doing alright as well, I guess, now that I'm home. Haha. Wonderful, wonderful. The name sounds familiar. Is that the same Jezo from my physical education fiasco the other day? I think so. Goodbye. Life is strange. No, I have not. What's that about? Before I can inquire at all, she starts picking her way through the woods and back towards the school. By the time I'm back on my feet, she's already put some distance between us. She isn't walking to the main road though, instead cutting directly through the trees on a horizontal path to what I assume to be the direction of the dorms. I'm sure there are a number of different rules against that, but at this point I'm inclined to take the shortcut with her. Do it. Would it be... yeah, it would be weird to follow her. We're both heading back to campus, so there's nothing strange about it, right? Technically, we walk in silence, aside from crunching of fallen branches and leaf litter. Isolde doesn't look back, her destination set. Ultimately, the distance is a short one, and it takes only moments to reach the end of the tree line. I can already see Isolde walking through a muddy clearing by the dormitories. Just as I start to work my way around. Shit. Oh shit, I feel my leg fold underneath me. Damn. I fall against the mud, expertly missing dry grass by mere centimeters. Candy. I gotta write something on candy. Where's my writing notepad? Guess I can write on this. It's gonna take a while. Meanwhile, we'll proceed with the game. I just discovered the redeems. Oh, did you? Prepare for me spending points like crazy. Oh, wonderful. There's really not much on there though, so... I am now very sore, though the feeling in my legs means I can still move, at least. Yeah, glad you're feeling your legs, of course. Coffee with the Baileys, Irish cream, or Kahlua in it. Oh, okay. That sounds really good. I wish I could try it. I like strong black tea with splash of milk and 2 spoons of honey. Wonderful. Hampton tea. Okay, I read that. As I look up, I'm surprised to see a nervous Isolde staring at my leg. I hadn't even noticed her approach, but there she is, standing in the middle of the mud pit I just fell into. Hey. I wipe the mud off my hands and test out my leg a little. I can probably get up without help and hopefully not embarrass myself further. That said, with Isolde here, I wouldn't mind a hand. Guys, should we reach out and ask for help, or should we say, okay, this is mental health awareness, we should ask for help, let's go, right? Your message is being checked by a moderator? That's fine. Wait, really? I guess I don't do any self-care stuff unless reading and chilling counts. It does count, that is self-care. I forgot now, don't worry. Okay, wonderful. I think there's some delay going on here, either with my internet, I think. Yeah. Reach out and ask for help. I smile and I reach a hand up to Isolde. Can you help me out here? This doesn't tend to happen. She eyes my hand with hostility before coldly replying, no. Rather than the usual reaction I'd expected, she simply stands there and watches me, her arms staying still by her side. Her eyes still aren't trained on me, but rather some nearby foliage. Please? I said no. At this point, I could just push myself off the ground, but I can't help but feeling frustrated with her. Well, why not? I'm growing a little more agitated, and the annoyance in my voice is beginning to spill out. It might be a little unfair, but is it that hard to help someone out when they've fallen down? I know, right? Oh, something happened. Stupid Automod. I missed something then. I don't see anything though. Let me refresh it. It might be a little unfair, but is it that hard to help someone? Because I don't want to. Her voice is firm and steady, conveying similar annoyance. Well, can you not stare at this fallen guy? Can you just leave then? Right, that makes sense. It actually takes me a lot longer than anticipated to push myself off the ground, but eventually I managed to work my way back onto my feet. Always ask for help, yeah. Why is there chat delay going on? What's happening here? It looks like there's an about 3 minutes delay. Damn, what happened? Is it my internet over here or what? Let me refresh again. So my message was a reply to you asking how everybody was. My response was, I'm doing amazing now that I'm home and about to stream like a... Alright. Makes sense. There's about 3. I think it should be fine now. I think. It takes. I read that. I almost lose my balance again, but I'm still standing vertically in the end. I can't help but grimace at the mud that's now collected on my clothes. While it isn't Isolde's fault, I still direct some of my frustration to her. Thanks for the help. I mumble sarcastically, probably a lot more harshly than necessary. You're welcome. I try and prepare myself to combat her own sarcastic remark. However, her soft and confused tone takes me by surprise. I don't think she's jabbing back at me, it's sincere. In fact, as I look up, her entire body seems to be tensing inward with her eyes flicking consistently to my leg. It looks like she's worried, but I remember back to when she flinched away from me when I was accepting her sketchbook. If she was that uncomfortable with another person touching her, then that would be. I suddenly realized that I'm the one at fault in this situation. The heartbreak caused the distortions in time. Yeah. So because I had to put the word in there. Yeah, I get it. I've been oblivious this entire time to just how much I've been intruding on her space. It was just a capital letters only that I had put in there, and that's what got dinged. Oh. Oh, okay. Heartbreaks are so powerful, they can touch even time. Wait, did I change my screen or not? I did, okay. I It wasn't the hug break, I promise. It wasn't the hug break. It's just my laptop overheating, I think. I think I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. Hi, Angie. It wasn't the hug break redeem. I promise, it's alright. Anyways, let's get back to the game. I will do maybe 30 more minutes of the game, and then we can go on the OG emotes thingy. Thursday. Return. She turns in the direction of the dorm buildings. I try to think of the words for an apology, but I can't really seem to find them. 30 minutes speed running. You're a tad late, Pando, but thanks. It's a little ghost. I wasn't trying to be rude in my misunderstanding. In fact, I was hoping to gain some kind of friendliness out of this exchange. Instead, it looks like I've pissed someone off this early in the semester. Right, I better head back to my dorm and change. Isolde nods, still facing away from me. That'd be a good idea before you get too cold or get mud within any important places. That was an odd way of saying that. Without waiting another moment, Isolde walks off towards the main part of the campus, though after only a few paces, stops in place. She turns back towards me. Pando is built different, yup. Are you sure you're alright? Her words reach me, but her eyes don't, and even her arms are now in a hard-folded position. Is she actually concerned or just asking out of an annoyed obligation at this point? I could understand if it were the latter. I haven't earned any sympathy from her. I'll be fine. Well then, goodbye. Before I can say anything else, she turns back around and eventually disappears among the many Saint Divna buildings in front of us. With that, I make my way back to my own dorm. Slowly. The rest of my afternoon is spent idly walking through the halls. My homework's mostly done, but I can hold off until after dinner. As I wander, my thoughts turn to the recent encounter I had with Isolda. I don't know why I keep calling her Isola. I still have a lot to learn about interacting with people. It seems if I see her again, I should probably apologize, yo. Regardless, it's a valuable experience. I just hope that I can get more of them as I continue to go here. Creeper, look what I got. Whoa, how did you get that? Where did you get that from? What? Limited time. Oh god. Wonderful. The hallways were mostly empty, but the grounds outdoors tell a different story. Groups of students gather near the entranceways, walk together on the paths, and talk on their phones. Twitch gave it to me. Wow, that's amazing. It's a surprisingly social place, a common area for students to unwind after a day of stuffy classrooms. I think watching Minecraft streamers give, like, leads up to that as a reward, right? Watching or streaming Minecraft, I'm not sure. Come to think of it, if any of these students were like me for a time, I bet they'd crave a few minutes of the outdoors. Not being allowed to leave your room just to get some fresh air felt like part of you was stripped away. Well, I want the emote too then. Yes, although I don't remember watching Minecraft lately or streaming. Wow. Interesting. When I was able to get out of the hospital... Oh, sorry, I kind of yawned midway. When I was able to get out of the hospital, fresh air felt like a luxury. I'm sure other students would feel the same way. My wanderings eventually take me back to the men's dorms. I have a bit of a homework I can start on before dinner, so I head up to my room and get started. Apparently you gotta watch 5 minutes. Wow, okay. Today's coursework isn't too strenuous, just math and a French essay I have to write. I can probably knock out the French essay first and start maths after dinner. Let's see. Write about the causes of French Revolution. Okay, simple enough. Use the verb conjugations we learned this week to write your essay. Okay. French essay. Yeah. Well, that could take a bit longer than I thought it would. Sighing, I open my laptop and start typing. Wonderful. Okay, I call this a good amount of progress now. Just in time, seeing that all the students outside appear to be heading out for dinner. I extract myself from my chair and head over to get some food. Oh, by the way, I know we're speedrunning the game. I will talk about that later. More of the usual crowds here, with everyone gathered in a haphazard line for tonight's meal. Erik, hi, Irene. Hello. I don't remember you. Oh, hey, Irene. Doing alright? I think from the first day? More or less, you? She thinks for a bit, as if analyzing my question. No, scratch that. She's analyzing my question. If I'd have to guess, I'm doing okay. You guess? Sure, you can't really tell other people how you're feeling after all. Haven't you read Tolstoy? Can't say that I have. Could have sworn you had at some point. Pretty sure I'd remember. Well, anyway, want to eat dinner together? That was a quick segue. Irene is a smarty pants, yup. I don't see why not. Great, let's grub up and find a place to sit. The line in front of us makes that task take a little bit longer than Irene's expecting. Finding our seats, thankfully, was a lot less difficult. This cafeteria is a lot bigger than I thought. Funny, that's what everyone says when they come here. Really? I mean, I certainly thought so. Then Ella confirmed the same story with me and some other students, and I figured that a large percentage of the student body thinks this place is smaller than it is. Okay. Differences. Yeah, French. Wait, did I miss something? Okay, no, I didn't. Fascinating. My food's getting cold, so I shovel a bite into my mouth while she continues. So I decided to take things in my own hands and investigated the cafeteria's dimensions. It's feng shui, everything. What does that mean? Hopi fly. I don't know French. I don't know French. I cannot. And you know what I found? I swallow, half curious about whatever secret this girl is about to reveal to me. What? Wait, is Irene the one that fell from the tree? Irene, are you the tree climber? Oh god. Translation, like, okay, got it. I cannot. I'm sorry. It's the tables. They're 2 inches taller than others similar tables I could find online. Tables, really? Irene nods. Turns out, if you feel shorter, everything's bigger. It's subtle, but the effects are huge. Huh. Oh, it does make sense. I am just gonna focus on the great game. I'm somewhat impressed that she did all that work, though I wondered just how much time that all took. Then I got to wondering just why were these tables so tall? What does the school gain from raising all of the tables? I have absolutely no idea. Irene continues to think for a moment. Weird? What's weird? No worries, I'd seen that entry. I'd put French essay in chat, that's why I put. Ah, okay. Me neither, but I'm sure there's some interesting reason. Maybe they're just cheaper. Cheaper for more tables? That doesn't make any sense, Eric. I guess. How's class? You guys are a little ahead, but I think I should be able to handle it. I get excited when I see French. Makes sense. Been out of school? Just for a few months, but yeah. I briefly considered if giving this information to Irene is a good idea. You seem like a smart guy. You even helped Natalia with her homework. How do you know about that? I know about a lot of things, Eric. I decided to leave that strange remark be and move on with the conversation. That was her geography homework, something I'm pretty good at. When it comes to everything else, I don't know. There are study groups in the school. Ella might be able to help you set that up. You are the tree girl, aren't you? I don't think I'm that far gone yet. Thanks though. Anytime. With conversation dried up, Irene digs into her dinner. With nothing to add, I do the same. Ooh, okay. With our dinners complete and our trays returned, we begin to wander from the cafeteria. You guys have math homework, you know? Tree girl, whoa, Hope so rude. What? She is the girl that fell from the tree. I think. Are you going back to the dorms? Yeah, I've got an assignment to work on. How about you? I have an assignment too. I'll see you around, Erik. Is it investigating that bricks? Okay, lurking while streaming. Okay, okay. Have a wonderful stream. Thank you so much for lurking. Irene takes a hard left and starts walking along a patch of grass that I'm pretty sure you're not meant to walk on. I'm pretty sure that's not the way to the girls' dorm either. She's going to that, different bricks place. Oh, wait, I missed something. Vice or not, I leave the door to my room open for this first time while I run to the toilet and get ready for bed. The only person I can imagine sneaking in there to cause mischief is Irene, and she's filter code up for the day. I'd say the risk is relatively low. Why is this dude so concerned about walking on paths that you're not supposed to walk on? I don't know. I don't know. He could be, but yeah. I guess he's just very nosy and suspicious. The only person I can imagine sneaking in there to cause mischief. Okay, I read that. All washed and minty breathed. I returned to the room to find it seemingly unmolested. Okay. A minute later, my uniform traded for something a little more comfortable. I settled in for some late night web surfing. You have math homework, sir. Mostly, though, my web surfing involves wandering around in the shallows of my email, getting tired, then deciding to go to sleep instead. Wonderful. No call today? Again? Really? Going off track is the only way to yeah, true. Tonight, aside from the ubiquitous daily newsletter, there's only one message to read. And we have an ad. Can you name the biblical figure whose name was chosen for Boris Becker's older son? I don't know. Nope, I can't. Mr. Wilhelm, if you would be so kind, please stop by the classroom before class tomorrow morning. There are several things regarding your studies which I would like to discuss with you. Best regards, Edna Place. Oh my god, I'm scared. Short and to point, as I've come to expect of her. If to the point means being vague and conjuring up 1,001 possible horrible reasons for Cleus to email me. I know, right? Did I fail that first test? Am I failing getting expelled? All of the above? Well, sitting here worrying about it won't be good for my health. For a few minutes, I click back through previous emails and read a few older newsletters that I skipped over the first time, and scan the What's New on Campus sections full of events that have already gone by. When I'm tired of that, I close up shop and take my metaphorical surfboard to bed. Oh. Who's Edna? Edna Cleus, the teacher with red name. Should we go find out what's up with the teacher, or should we end it at the night note? Because I do have to show you the emotes. And I really want to find out what's up with the teacher. I'm not gonna be able to sleep without it. I know I've only been in class for a few days. Teacher with red name, yup. And that I'm a new student here, but still, I hope that email I got doesn't mean anything serious is going to happen. I suppose there's no worrying about it at this hour. I'm too tired to think about it too much. No, not at a cliffhanger. We're going to the teacher. Hopefully, straight to her. Before the rest of the students even arrive, I find her at my classroom where she's getting today's lesson plan ready. Good morning, Miss Clayes. I got your email last night. You had something to talk to me about? Ah, thank you for coming, Mr. Wilhelm. I've been meaning to talk to you about your studies for a while. Is there something wrong? Tree girl, teacher with red name. Do you always give people weird Hey, what do you mean? Wait. Okay, no, that's my name. Sorry. Is there something wrong? Never mind. Might as well clear the air. No sense beating the bush. No, Mr. Wilhelm. What nicknames do you have? For now, just Angie, but who knows? Not at all. I asked you I asked for you to come in before class because I would like to offer you some help in regards to your future schoolwork. Not as bad as I thought, I guess. What do you mean? Well, St. Dempness has had a proud tradition of accommodating students who require study materials, resources, and on-campus tutoring. I think you could excel here, but after looking at your scores from your entrance exams, you could use some help. She's right on that one. Math and science never really came easily to me. The only subjects I excelled at were history and geography, mainly because of my interest in hiking and being outdoors. Makes sense. Ah, okay, I guess I gotta climb more trees, yeah. You do. Louis Becker named his older son Noah, a name that hails from the ancient scriptural tales. Really? Okay. It also doesn't help that this antidepressant I'm on causes drowsiness too. It's tough getting out of bed, let alone staying awake in class. I'm pretty sure Miss Claes has noticed that part by now. If possible, I'd like for you to— Oh, come on in. Oh, hi! Janine, right? Jazo. From outside, a girl enters the room. Surprisingly, I've met her before. Jazo? Oh, hello, Erik. You two have met. Yes, we're in the same physical education class. One could say we had an impactful encounter, so to speak. I see, then that makes things a bit easier if you two know each other already. J-Dog, what brings you here, Jazo? As I'd been saying previously, we have on-campus tutors for students that need an extra hand with assignments. Miss Lefebvre is one of the few student tutors here on campus, and Miss Sahin recommended her to me just the other day. Ella's quick as always. Oh yeah. This must be the study group she mentioned. I recommend you try studying with Jazo for a few sessions. If it's not something you like, we can work out something for you later. Well, what have I got to lose? It's not often that things like this happen. Free help with schoolwork, that is. And I would probably have asked for help at some point during the school year. How bad could it be? Alright, I'll give it a shot. Well, that settles it. Jazo, why don't you set up a schedule with Erik here? I'll leave you to it. Yes, ma'am. Jazo turns to me, handing me a small folder. Since I'm going to tutor you, I'd like to ask you a few questions just to break the ice a little. The creator of this game is an evil mastermind. They put all those fancy names just to challenge the players. Yeah, they did. How is it pronounced, Andy? How is it pronounced? It's still too early for an interview, but I did say I will try this. I tried to suppress a yawn, but failed. Okay, go ahead. Great. First question, where are you from? Basel. I lived on the outskirts. Oh, Switzerland. I hear it's beautiful there. Yeah, actually, it's quite nice in the fall, plus the Alps are a short drive away. That's wonderful. I've never been to the Alps. Did you go hiking there? Well, I did, but that's what landed me here. Jazo probably doesn't want to know about that day one, though. My family did a lot of it when I was younger. There are lots of trails in the area. What about you? Where are you from? Couldn't you tell? I am a proud French woman. It's pronounced in a French way. I don't really know how to let you know. Okay. I will have to look it up then. She speaks the last syllables with an exaggeration of her admittedly light French accent. I honestly forgot, but I do recall her having a slight lilt. Let's try this. You know how to pronounce Jesus, NG? What does it mean? Wait, what does it mean? You made me say something. What does it mean? Where's... How long have I been? Okay, 7 more minutes, game. I am NG. Oh, okay. Jesus, NG. Okay, it doesn't matter what. Well, it matters. Okay, so what about that? Was that right though? Pretty sure not. Um. Oh shit! It's on auto. Cut it! Cut it! Cut it! Stop. History, please. Um. I'm from the west coast, near Nantes. Well done, bonjour to you too, Madame Moiselle. I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. I don't speak French all that well. I think those are the two best words I can say reliably to be perfectly honest. So, Jenny? So it is Jenny. That's okay. I think you should be fine. You mean different from... Wait, what? Oh, okay. Okay, now ask me a question. Anything you want to learn about me, go ahead. You know, there was one thing I was interested in learning more about, to think about it. So you mentioned to me you had Tourette's, right? Uh-huh, that's right. Not to offend, but is yours different than others? You mean different from how the media plays it out? Constant swearing at the end of my sentences, random twitching and screaming? I suppose. Yeah, that. Am I live? No, it's not. It's not right. Jenny? Not right? Just was... Jenny? Jenny? Nah, never mind, forget it. Jazo it is. Oh, ecopraxia. Well, that's actually a very small percentage of cases. Most people with Tourette's are more like me. I've got a little motor tic and a weird thing called ecopraxia. Ecopraxia. Yeah, it happens rarely, but sometimes I'll follow someone's arm or leg movements without me realizing it. I've dropped things, bumped into people. Ah, so that's why you bumped into me the other day. Guilty as charged. I was following along with the exercise and I sort of lost my footing when I moved wrong. Sorry again. No need to apologize. It's not like I'll kneel over from getting bumped by someone. But anyways, thanks for sharing. I'm sure it's not easy sharing that. Actually, I'm okay with it. Lots of my classmates asked about it when I first transferred here. But for some people, it would be. Students have varying degrees of openness. I just happen to be more open about my Tourette's. It's something I've come to terms with, and I do my best to make sure I can answer everyone's questions. Still? I'm lagging still? If so, then I'm just gonna stop with the game. After all, I'll be tutoring you. It's part of my job to answer questions. I wish I could have had the same attitude about my problems. Jazo's honesty is really refreshing, especially at this hour. That's pretty cool, Jazo. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. I'm always happy to help. Now I'd like to... Okay, we're done with the questions for now. Bye, Jaisal. I'll see you tomorrow. Now we move on to the emotes. Quit. Yep. I will be ending the stream now since my laptop is really going crazy right now. Oh, it can be without because the eyes. Yeah, okay, wonderful. Then it is without.